today's episode of Sacred Story Collective. Welcome back. We're going to have a good time. Does this count as a date night?
Yes.
Sure. I think
so.
So this one should be pretty simple and straightforward, but we're going to discuss date nights and marriage. Why don't you give us a little summary of our transition point on the season situation?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I just remembered that we're starting a new season for this episode, so... Wow,
welcome
we
to the
made
next
it,
level.
You guys. Yeah, so this is not a whole new season of the podcast, not that it really matters, but it's like the next mini-series within this season. So if you're new here, if you forgot, our first big season of the podcast of Sacred Story Collective is the season, where we're walking through different seasons of marriage and different kind of topics that fall into those categories. And so we've already walked through spring, which is the foundational time, new beginnings, and now we're beginning the summer series, and we're going to be talking about the joyful parts about marriage, sustaining a beautiful, happy marriage, and it's like the good things, the fun things, I feel like is a lot of the summer episodes, and so date nights is one of those, but we're gonna not just talk about, marriage is so fun, we're gonna talk about ways to continue growing and making sure that your marriage is flourishing with these things. So this week, we're talking about date nights. Do you need a date night? What is a date night? Next week, preview the marriage bed. I'm excited.
I'll be there.
So yeah, we'll have lots of fun episodes coming. We actually just outlined all of our episodes for the next
through the whole
months.
Summer.
Yes.
The actual summer, not the summer season. But would it be fair to say that what we're going into is more of like a post-honeymoon phase? Now we're just into the regular cycles.
Like establishing healthy rhythms.
Kind of you're getting into a better understanding of what marriage is like day to day, week to week, and then getting to see all the joys. So we're going to point them out for you in case you've been missing them.
Yeah.
You know?
Perfect.
So this is the second stop in early marriage, which obviously timeline-wise varies from person to person. But here goes, date nights. First off, I was thinking, when was the last time we went on a date night? Meaning it's very
like
strict.
Very specific.
Yeah.
No baby.
Intentionally
in the evening.
Planned beforehand. Yeah.
Did you remember what you were thinking about?
I have no idea. No, I don't know.
Wow. I know for sure we went on date nights last summer when we were in Oregon.
I think this last August might be the most recent.
Yeah, I think in terms of like what other people might consider a date night.
Yeah.
That's possible.
Connection's still strong.
Yeah.
But going out intentionally. So just so you see our perspective shining through a little from the start, I was thinking, as I was waiting for you to get your ice pack and get prepped.
Listen, we're in our enclosed patio in May in Arizona.
It's beautiful.
I'm already sweating.
One of the great things about living in Arizona is you get to be reminded regularly that comfort is not a virtue.
Beautiful.
Sweat it out.
Yeah.
It's good for us.
Yep. So if you're ever watching the video on YouTube and you're like, why do they look so wet? We're sweating. We're in our enclosed patio.
It's just a shine of love. So
yes.
Why do you think this? You will regularly hear people say you should plan, even at a wedding, for us going to many, if they do a dance or something, or someone is like put on the spot to give advice.
Yeah.
You hear, don't go to bed angry, and I feel like in the top 5 expectations is have a weekly date night, plan a date night. I've heard that so many times.
Yeah.
So you have thoughts on why you think that's good?
Well, hey, that was us. Like, we thought that too.
That's true,
when we were
actually.
first married. Remember #datingmarried?
Oh, yeah.
That's a throwback.
Been there, done that.
Before we started our original podcast, which we've talked to y'all about before, we had a little Instagram account called Dating Married because we're like, yes, we're going to pursue each other and continue to date even though we're married now. And I have no regrets for that time. That was wonderful. We did a lot of really fun things. And we also figured out what were our favorite things to do for a date, and going to the arcade, playing the clown game. That's the best. So we found things that we would like to do the most by trying out so many different things. And I really like that we set a precedent of quality time together, of intentional time together. And we were newly married and really, really busy. Barely got to see each other because of how much work and school we had. And so I think that was a time that maybe it was more necessary to be intentional with the time we spent together.
Yeah, setting that standard at the start was probably wise.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. For a quick summary, we just wrote out basically all the ideas we possibly had for dates and put them in a jar on little slips of paper. So then we just pulled it out and
Yeah. There was like date
shows
nights
what we were doing that
in
week.
and date nights out.
Yeah.
2 different jars. It was really cute newlywed stuff. So yeah, and they were really fun. I had a great time. Lots of fun memories. But sorry, your question was why do people say that that's necessary?
Why do we think that's so commonly encouraged, especially for newlyweds?
Yeah, because people don't know how to like be in the same room with each other or like how to be intentional with each other even when they're in the same room together. So they need it to be like a set aside time in order to like look their spouse in the eyes, which is not helpful. But like if that's what you know, again, there's seasons where you need to set aside some intentional time, but it's necessary because we spend all of our time looking at our phones and being distracted and not being intentional with each other. And so it shouldn't be necessary, I would say, is like my thesis of
I think I agree. Yeah, we have to intentionally split it into 2 categories because it's not inherently a problem to plan to go on dates with your spouse. So we don't want to sound like we're doing that. But is there something else that's making you I think if you're feeling distance from your spouse and that could be a good option, especially depending on the season, if time is not allowing for you guys to be together at any other point. So it's like, here's this one time each week when we know our schedules align, we can have someone watch the kids, that whatever has to be lined up. So we're going to spend that time together just because everything is hectic right now. But I think that what you were getting into is for a lot of people, that's not the problem. We're being distracted, especially early on in marriage. I want to make this as simple as possible. So I think it is wise, like I already said, to start off with that intentionality of time together, but at the same time, where you can start and where you can end up at some point if you just don't pay attention is you're just distracted from one another by unnecessary things, which is the screens that Taylor Ray's alluding to. So I think that's probably got to be one of the biggest reasons people feel like they have to have a regular date night is because like you have to disconnect from the disconnection you are used to living in. So you have to move away from that. But if there is other time for you to be intentional with your spouse, like I feel like we could easily talk about this from our actual life and schedule, because some of our favorite date nights are for sure garage sailing.
Yes, which is a date morning, oftentimes with our baby in the car with us.
Yes.
Great, still a date.
Absolutely. And then the other thing I thought of was just grocery shopping when we're able to go
Costco
at the same time.
Yeah.
And then it's nice when I go grocery shopping by myself, a lot of times I'll start to feel this like, oh, I cannot go fast enough. It's like an absolute race. And so I really enjoy for having time, and like the baby's almost always with us because otherwise we abandon her somewhere and that would be a problem.
Sure.
So, but the 3 of us going to Costco is such an enjoyable experience when we can just take it slow and talk and enjoy. So that's totally a date night, date day, whatever it is. So I just want to for sure put in here an encouragement to not have strict guidelines or expectations over what a date night looks like, because what we're looking for is just connection, intimacy, and the ability to have conversation. I'm kind of just popping through every bullet point I had thinking of before this.
Another part of this is that we need to just reframe what a date is. And like that date night doesn't need to be at night. It doesn't need to be without your children. It doesn't need to be quote unquote romantic as others might define as being romantic. It's about like intentional quality time together. Where you do look each other in the eyes and you do have meaningful conversation. So we need to reframe what that means, because the, like, I don't know, stereotypical date night, or what people might think of when they think of having a date night, where you hire a babysitter, you go out to eat, you go to the movies, like whatever that is, that's expensive and not realistic for a lot of people, especially in this economy, and in certain seasons of life. That's just not a possibility. And that's okay, because you don't need to go on date nights like that. So not only is it maybe can feed an unhealthy idea of what being intentional with your spouse means it also just isn't necessary and not possible for some people in some seasons. So,
Yeah, I think most of the time there is like, well, we have a special schedule these days that we are incredibly thankful for, where we
Yeah.
do have a lot of time together, and we actually enjoy that time.
yes.
But
I know. I remember when we started working together with our business, and I think your job went part-time, so we were home together all the time, and like we are now, we're even home together even more now, but having friends be like, and you like working together? You like being together that often?
what were the
Yeah.
stipulations for you choosing your spouse? Was one of them that you only wanted to be with them half of the time or something? I
Wow. Boom roasted.
don't know about that one.
Yeah.
So it's
But
easy.
also some people like alone time more. And like, to be fair, I really like alone time, but I don't know. I feel like I get alone time too. I don't know. I just feel like it's fine. I don't know.
You know, where I was going with that is just that for even if you did happen to have normal-ish hours, like by modern standards, where you're done in like the 3 to 5 o'clock range, and then you head home from there. So it's like you have whatever 4 to 6 hours at home. At the end of the day, I don't know, 3 to 6 hours awake and together. All you really need to be doing is asking open-ended questions to one another, not avoiding one another. So clearly there's plenty of room for a case-by-case basis, depending on what's on your schedule or not. But another part of that is if your schedule is is degrading your marriage, then your schedule is the problem, not the marital lack of intimacy emotionally and physically and that kind of thing. So you need to adjust to that. It's the relationship that you committed to above all else. So
Yeah.
well, broad summary statement from me is that anything can be a date night. It's like I was thinking actually is when you were with your friends and thinking about like middle school, high school, hanging out with your friends, you weren't always planning 1 or 2 weeks ahead of what you were going to do. Obviously, it's a completely different season, but you enjoyed the time you had together no matter what it was. So I don't know what the big switch is
Right.
from there into a
Let's
marriage
go
relationship.
make reservations and
Yeah.
Which again, like we're not criticizing. Sometimes it's like, honey, I'm feeling like we haven't had like a romantic night together in a long time. Can you call my favorite restaurant and make reservations, and maybe we could do that, whatever we could fit in the budget. Like there's nothing wrong with that. So don't hear criticism where there's not. But yeah, let's talk about all of our favorite date nights that other people might not think are date nights. So we've already established garage sailing.
You've never
Costco.
strengthened your relationship to the level that you could until you've gone double team on those knock 'em down clowns.
I feel like it's probably like the 5th time we've talked about the clowns on this podcast.
It's got to be our favorite date night.
It's the best. It's so fun.
Have you ever
But I feel like that is kind of a people like going to the arcade is a date night to people.
That's true. It's a great option because like the fun is it's not like it's gonna be not interesting, I guess.
Sure.
And then there's plenty it's like it lends itself to conversation and not, maybe I'm saying something, maybe I'm not with that statement.
Okay.
But
It is
I was going to say, if
hilarious
you ever
and
go
fun.
to Salem, Oregon,
Yeah.
you should go to Wonderland with a U, W-U, Wonderland. And there was a nickel arcade. So when I was a kid, it was you would give them cash and you get a bag of nickels, which was the coolest thing. So now it's like I'm a king and this is just like a jingling cup of gold.
Age wire. Nickels. I want nickels.
Yes. It's like to give $10 and then you get 200, right? Yeah, 20. Yeah, you get 200 little coins. That was crazy as a elementary schooler.
Now they just give you this dinky little plastic card.
But now you gotta scan the card, but still, it's in nickel prices.
Yeah.
So I think it's 15 cents for the clowns game, and we just go at it like,
Yeah.
sorry kids, there's no room for you.
You
here.
literally-
we're taking these guys down.
We'll go and like do the basketball game or another game for like 5 minutes. We're like, want to go back to the clowns? Yeah, let's go back to the clowns.
We're here for the clowns.
And we get the little fruit chewy.
We might add that since we recently went through our finances episode. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll add that to a future purchase. The clown game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put it on
On
the
the
patio.
budget.
Yeah.
Oh, actually buy it. I thought you meant like budget for it, like to go to the arcade. You
No,
meant to
just
buy.
we're gonna need one day.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, anyways, other dates. Well, at home dates, I love. Well, okay, I don't think we ever established this. If you're watching this online, if you're viewing us, you should know that behind us here is not just our little canvas banner, but also a pull-down projector screen.
True, I can demonstrate.
Do it. It's stuck on the shelf. We haven't pulled it down, so we put that shelf over there. The change.
I hit the nickels.
The piggy bank.
Well.
Anyways, normally we pull that down. That was a lot of noise. And we have our projector up there, and this is where we have our movie nights.
Oops.
And our comfy futon and everything, so it's a great time. And we'll make popcorn. Josh makes really good popcorn. And yeah, those are some of my favorites. We do that almost every week. And then we also play card games regularly at night. We love Monopoly Deal.
Yes.
I always say
Deal.
not Monopoly Go. Monopoly Deal. We love Swipe, but that's better in a group. And then Egyptian Rat Slap.
Of course, she's the champ.
The best. It's my favorite. So we love card games. What else do we do? That's like a date night, but not a date night.
I was thinking just going on walks.
Yeah.
That one always includes the baby too.
Yeah, great.
But that's great.
Nothing wrong with that.
And then I was just thinking about how often we read things that we're reading to each other.
Yeah.
All of it is, we're making the term, this is obvious, date incredibly broad. It's just intentional time to draw closer to each other.
Yeah.
Counts as a date night. Mm-hmm. Because, like I kind of said towards the beginning, if you're feeling desperate for that need, it's because you are not regularly giving of emotional intimacy to one another. Just so if you can do that on a daily basis it's like if you have a big project and you don't want to start it because it's going to take too long to do the whole thing, but instead you spend 20 minutes on it each day, it ends up being complete eventually. So
yeah, and honestly, I would so much rather spend if we had such crazy busy schedules, I would so much rather have 20 minutes of intentional time with you every single day than go on a date night every other week and have to spend the whole time catching up with each other. And yeah, I'm thankful for all the time we get together, but even if it was crazy, we could be intentional every day. Which, yeah, that's my big thing when it comes to date nights is, I want you, as you're listening to us chat about this, I want you to consider, do you need a date night, or do you need to put your phone away after dinner's over and the kids go to bed and then just, actually spend time together? Do you need a date night, or do you need to just go to bed a little earlier so you can wake up 30 minutes sooner and sit on the front patio and drink coffee together while you read your Bible or pray together or just talk? Do you need a date night, or do you need to have sex more than once a week? Where do you need to actually have more intentionality with your spouse? That doesn't require you going out to dinner and making reservations or getting a babysitter. It's really just being intentional. And all those things I said are free. So you need to just reflect maybe on where your priorities are.
Truly. I was planning to end this off with some of what you just said as direct and free, easily applicable moves, is that I would definitely say you should not have a TV in your bedroom. Yeah. Which can relate to other topics as well, but I mean, just for the sake of talking to one another or not being distracted from bedroom time. And then...
Yeah, there's a statistic about a huge, there's a 25% decrease in sexual activity in marriages when there's a TV in the bedroom.
Well, get it out of there.
I know.
Done.
It's 26 or 27 or somewhere around there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the phones also. I know this is so common, and I'm sure for over a year now.
It's been a couple years. You've been done with it.
I leave my phone. I mean, either I just kind of forget about it by the end of the day, or I plug it in the kitchen. But the only time I take it in the bedroom is when I'm nervous. I'm not gonna, if I have to wake up extra early. I like to set multiple alarms, otherwise I wake up all night. So that's the only time I take it in there. But it should not be. I mean, for the good of your brain and your sleep in general. But then as a loving kindness to your spouse, to take that away as a distraction. The relationships that are right in front of you are more important. Yeah. And better for you in the long run. Do not be, consider how short each day is, and then as they add up over a lifetime, and do a little math with, I mean, your phone will tell you.
Yeah, how much screen time.
Look at that screen time and consider what you actually want to, I mean, devote yourself to, and what you want to be your legacy of how you spent this life. I hope that will discourage you from just being hooked on that. And then another way that you can easily have your spouse bless you on this regard, if it's relevant, is to have your spouse set up your screen time passcode. Because you can set up your phone and computer to where, at least on the Mac, to where you can set specific limits for any given website or app to shut off at a certain time. And then if I have my wife set the limit, then so it gets rid of the ignore possibility, you're saving yourself from that endless cycle. So free advice there. Go do it.
Yeah, it's good.
Cool. I don't feel like we have to go anywhere else on that.
Yeah, I said what I needed to say. But yeah, doing a podcast with you does kind of feel like a date night.
It's true. We do date morning, afternoon, and night.
Yeah.
It's like 15 dates a week.
Yeah, pretty much.
That'll fill you up.
Came on this podcast to say, you don't need to do a date night. And ended it with saying, we actually go on more dates than anybody else ever.
Just rework your definition and you'll be set.
Yeah, which also, we never call it a date. Like, hardly ever.
It's true.
I think the only thing we ever call a date is our garage sailing we call a date. Which is great, because when we're, like, spending money on...
It's a great date.
It's so fun!
We should hit that again as newlyweds also. Like, anybody can ask us for advice or to come on a garage sailing tour if you'd like. I mean, it won't be for the next few months because Arizona garage sales won't be happening.
Yeah, our Oregon friends.
Truth.
We'll be going every week. Oregon garage sales in the summertime are fire.
Yeah, they're waiting for us up there.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
But especially in the newlywed category, this is like early marriage that we're discussing in general. It fits so well because you will be hopefully transitioning into a new space. You recently would have. You're setting up a new place together, and so you're needing to buy some level of different furniture, but decor and that kind of stuff. It's a great way to look for that, to have great time together and to save money. So
yeah, it's so good, and it's social. We could have a whole episode about everything awesome about garage sales, but last thing I'll say is that it's like a social thing because you get to meet people, and you say like, oh, I love these dinner plates, and they say, oh, they were my grandmother's. We ate on these every single night at her house, like, just hear really sweet stories, and then you take them into your home, and then you have your own stories and journey with it and everything. Like our kitchen table that I bought when I was garage selling with my dad a few months ago, $25 for a table and 4 chairs, and there was like some stains and stuff on top of it. I still need to refinish it, but whatever. And the lady was like, yeah, we had a lot of craft nights and ate a lot of meals at these tables. And I said, I've got a little girl. We will be doing all types of crafts at this table. And she's like, oh, that makes me so happy. That's just like the best thing.
That's
it's
very
so sweet.
I was thinking the projector that you mentioned was a garage sale, but it's actually a different one.
Yeah, we got another one at a garage sale.
But you never know what treasure you'll find.
Yeah,
all right.
Treasures at garage sales for future date nights, like a projector.
Done and done. It's
full
that easy.
Circle right there. Beautiful. Okay, well, hope you enjoyed. Come back for next week's episode. I'm real excited. And then, the rest of the summer season will be really cool. We're excited for all the episodes we have planned out. And, if you have questions, just a reminder that at the end of the summer series, before we start into the fall, we're going to be doing Q&A episodes. We're going to record that episode in like a month about. So, a month from right now, which is not, so like 3 weeks from when this is posted. Okay, so like 3 weeks from when you're hearing this, if you're hearing this the day that it's posted, is when we're going to be recording this episode of the Q&A. So make sure that you're sending in your questions, that way we can answer those. We're going to be recording it on our road trip up to Oregon.
Yes.
So a special car vlog podcast episode. So send those in. You can send those at the link in the description of the episode, or you can send a DM on Instagram or message us in whatever way. And we will be able to answer those questions for you on the podcast. We're really excited. We haven't had a ton of reviews on the Apple podcast, I just noticed. So if you haven't left a review on the Apple Podcast app, or I would assume on Spotify, can you leave a review on Spotify?
Probably.
I've never done it.
I know that Olivia left a comment. I saw that.
Oh,
So thanks, girl.
that's cool. I want to see it. Well, anyways, if you can, leave a review. 5-star review is really helpful for us if we can grow the podcast and actually make it not just a fun date night for us, but something that could help our provide income for our family one day. Here's the dream. We're dreaming big. But yeah, so ask us a question, leave a review, subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yes. Above all else, Jesus loves you, so go and sin no more. Clap.